It's been a hell of a night. You thought you'd steal a chunk of change from your boss at the real estate office, then get out of town and free yourself from some debt. But now the police are getting suspicious. You're speeding down the highway trying to escape the law, and there's a heavy rainstorm rolling in. Oh boy, you really made a mess of things. But good news, up ahead you can see a quaint little motel just off the main road. It's the perfect place to wait out the storm and avoid too much scrutiny. There's just one problem. This isn't just any family motel. This is the Bates Motel. And who's that at the check-in counter? Why, it's none other than Norman Bates himself. You've accidentally wound up smack dab in the middle of the plot of Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. Norman may look like he wouldn't hurt a fly, but don't be fooled. He's racked up quite a body count, and if you're not careful, you'll be his next victim. We all go a little mad sometimes, and Norman knows that better than anyone. You'll have to keep a clear head if you want to survive and make it through the night. This is how you can defeat the murderous Norman Bates and survive your stay at the Bates Motel. Let's get a few important things out of the way first. In this scenario, you are an average unarmed person. You didn't happen to pack a few hand grenades for the trip. You don't have a secret black belt in karate skills that you can use to disarm your assailant. All you've got is the clothes on your back, a sparsely packed overnight bag, the stolen money, and your instincts screaming at you that something isn't quite right about this Norman Bates character. He's perfectly polite and even invites you to have dinner with him that evening, but the vibes are most definitely off. So off, in fact, that your first instinct might be to get away from him as fast as possible, shut yourself in your room, and try to get some undoubtedly restless sleep. But that would be your first mistake. Refuse his dinner invitation and you risk hurting Norman's feelings, drawing the ire of his mother. And you don't want to make her angry. We'll discuss Mother Bates more later. Back to Norman. When he invites you to dine with him, be sure to accept, no matter how much he creeps you out. At this point, Norman heads back to the main house, leaving you alone in the motel. Go to your room, unpack your bags, and take stock of your surroundings. Be on high alert as much as possible. What's that sound? In the main house, you can hear Norman having an argument with what sounds like an older woman, one with a voice very similar to Norman's. She isn't pleased with him having you over for dinner, not at all. What's her problem? She's never even met you. You're pretty cool if you do say so yourself. But when Norman gets back to the motel for dinner, he doesn't mention his mother at all. At dinner, be on your best behavior. Compliment Norman's horrifying bird taxidermy, even if it gives you the shivers. When he does bring up his mother, and he will, ask him to tell you more about her and her illness. Whatever you do, don't suggest that he should have his mother committed to a special care facility. He will not take that well. After all, a boy's best friend is his mother, so just keep your judgments of his clearly unwell mother to yourself. Focus on your food and don't drink anything you didn't pour yourself, just in case. After dinner, the stakes get a whole lot higher. It's getting dark out, and as the night descends on the Bates Motel, so does an increased sense of danger. You need to plan your next steps extremely carefully. In the aftermath of a full meal and a long, panic-filled drive checking the rearview mirror for cops every few minutes, you've worked up quite a bit of a sweat and muscle tension. Nothing sounds better right now than a nice, long, hot shower. So let's just say you take that shower. You lock the door to your room because you weren't born yesterday, but then you let your guard down. You turn on the water, steam up the bathroom, and scrub all your worries away. No one knows where you are. You're thousands of dollars richer, and tomorrow you'll be out of this eerie motel for good. What was that? Did a door just open? You must be hearing things, you think. You pour a bit of shampoo into your hand and begin to wash your hair. You hum a little tune to yourself, and then, just when you're rinsing the suds from your newly refreshed locks, a hand yanks the shower curtain open. You barely get a chance to see who's there. All you can make out in the chaos is the glint of the knife in your attacker's hand. You scream, but no one's around to hear you. All you see is your own blood swirling down the shower drain. That's what'll happen if you shower in the Bates Motel tonight. So instead, quickly splash a bit of water on your face and in your smelliest areas. That'll have to do for now. You need to keep your guard up and trust your gut. Something is not right here. Keep your door locked and stay near it for the next several hours. Wait until it's late into the night and Norman is sure to be asleep. Perfect. Now is the time to do a little snooping and find out what you're up against. Come up with an excuse just in case you get caught. A good one is, I need to use your phone, or I couldn't sleep, do you have any herbal tea? Whatever will make you seem innocent and won't divulge that you're looking around to see what you're up against. Move through the house quietly to avoid waking Norman or his mother. Tiptoe through the main house, exploring every nook and cranny you can. It all seems fine so far. Nothing terribly out of the ordinary. It's the sort of house a grown man and his mother might share. But what's that? The door to a mysterious cellar? I guess you gotta check that out. You creep down into the cellar and your eyes slowly begin to adjust to the darkness. You can make out a silhouette. Someone sitting in a rocking chair. Mother Bates? Does she live down here in the cellar? As you get closer, you realize that she doesn't live anywhere anymore. Norman's mother is nothing more than a mummified corpse. Just then, the cellar door opens, and you see Norman standing there clad in a long women's nightgown and a gray wig, with a wild look in his eyes. Uh-oh. Now that Norman knows you've uncovered his secret, he's coming after you with a wig on his head and a massive kitchen knife in his hand. Run for your life! You could try to make it back to the car. But wait, the keys, they're still in your room. There's no other choice but to run back to your room and get them. You'll have to find a way to block the door and buy yourself some time. And fast, he's gaining on you. Lock the door first, but don't stop there. Norman's definitely got keys to every room in this place. You need more protection than that. The door to your room opens inward, so keep that in mind when blocking it. Take a quick look around the room. What can you use to block the door? There's an ironing board in the closet. Perfect. Place the ironing board against the door, positioned vertically so the end is pushing up against the doorknob. Next, extend the legs of the board fully, locking them into place. This will prevent the board from collapsing. For some extra security, grab the chair from the corner of the room and push it up against the ironing board and the door. There, you've temporarily prevented Norman from getting inside, and you've given yourself some time to think. Now that you've got the door barricaded, it's time to figure out what you can use as a weapon. Don't try to get something from the kitchen or supply closet. You're safe in here for the moment. But Norman is dressed in his dead mother's wig and clothes, and he's on a maternal murderous rampage. Best to stay here where it's safe. You'll have to make a weapon out of whatever you can find in your motel room. Something that can go up against a maniac with a kitchen knife and give you even the slimmest chance to win. Let's start with what you brought to the motel with you. As you scour through your belongings, you find a pen. Good thing you recently got into crossword puzzles. As long as you can dodge Norman's knife slashes, you'd be able to use your pen to stab him in the vulnerable areas you could reach, such as the throat or the eye. Mightier than the sword indeed. But say you left your pen in the car. Uh-oh. Don't worry, all isn't lost. You've got your car keys right there on the bedside table. No, you can't just run downstairs and hop in the car for a quick getaway. Norman's waiting to jump out and attack you on the way out. Instead, you could hold the keys in your clenched fist using the pointed ends like a pair of improvised spiky brass knuckles. That's one of your hands converted into a weapon, but what about the other? 2 hands are better than 1 after all. Well, guess what time it is? It's punch o'clock. Grab your wristwatch and hold the bracelet inside of your fist, positioning the clock face across your middle knuckles. Now you could be like James Bond in On Her Majesty's Secret Service when he used his Rolex to knock out an enemy. Yeah, you're just like James Bond. And like Bond, you're a sharp dresser. You packed a snazzy belt among your things. Just like the watch, your belt is a handsome accessory that can also be used as an improvised weapon. It can be used to dispense some good old-fashioned corporal punishment. For an extra bit of power, make sure to strike Norman in the face with the buckle end. If you're able to get close enough without getting stabbed, wrap the belt around his throat and squeeze the air out of that mama's boy. But watches, pens, and belts can break. After all, you didn't have the most expensive taste before you stole that money. So what else could you use? As you hear footsteps tiptoeing down the hall, now might be a good time to see what you can repurpose from the room itself. For a weapon that allows you to attack from a bit more of a safe distance, there is the option of a curtain rod. Don't be shy, he already wants to kill you. Go ahead and rip those drapes down and arm yourself with the curtain rod. You could use it like a spear in carefully timed thrusts. Don't slash wildly, or you might just grab onto the end of it, and then it's curtains for you. We'll see ourselves out. Use it to attack the face, neck, and groin if you can, but if the best you can do in the heat of the moment is just aiming for the center of the body, that's better than nothing. What else can you use? Your eyes flick to the lamp on the bedside table. Let there be light! You can use the lamp in a variety of self-defense methods. Take off the lampshade and throw it at Norman to slow him down. Then hold the lamp by the neck and use its base as a club to hit him over the head. Just make sure he can't grab hold of the dangling cord and use that to pull the lamp from your grasp, or worse, strangle you. What if he manages to break through your barricade before you can find a weapon? Suppose he chases you into the bathroom, one of his favorite places for stabbing. Don't worry, you're not out of luck just yet. Tear down the shower curtain. You won't need it anyway. Then yank the shower curtain rod out of place, and you've got yourself another improvised spear. If you'd rather dual wield and outnumber Norman weapons-wise, then get your hands on the plunger. Yeah, it's gross, but would you rather touch a dirty plunger or get murdered? Yeah, exactly. Unscrew the rubber bulb from the end of the plunger and bingo, it becomes a 2-foot wooden baton that you can bludgeon Norman with if he gets too close. Now that we established that survival is more important than potential bathroom germs, grab that lid off the toilet. You can hold it up and use it as a shield to block Norman's knife, or you could use it in a more offensive capacity and bludgeon him with it. Scoop up a handful of toilet water while you're at it, and splash that into Norman's face and eyes. Maybe the sheer disgust will be enough to scare him off. As an emergency maneuver, you could repurpose the reading material you brought into the bathroom a little earlier for a little bit of entertainment. Grab the newspaper, roll it up tightly, and then bend the paper tube in half to create a handle and a rounded end. There you go, now you got a Millwall brick. If he gets a little too close, you can fight off Norman with the power of the written word, or rather the power of a bunch of paper mashed into a little club. If all else fails, go for the legs. Norman's already at a disadvantage navigating the house in one of his mother's long dresses. Take advantage of that. Use the fabric to trip him up and knock him to the floor. That should be enough to get him to let go of the knife. Then you can grab it and decide what happens next. Maybe you give him a little taste of his own medicine. Or maybe you'll decide to take a more empathetic approach instead. After all, he's definitely not right in his mind. He's taken on the identity of the mother he killed, for crying out loud. If you'd like to resolve this conflict in a non-violent way, without involving the police, you can try to have a real heart-to-heart with Norman. Just make sure he's completely disarmed first, literally as well as emotionally. Take all the knives and hide them somewhere he can't find them. Maybe tie Norman up, just to make sure he really hears you out. Then it's time to have a little heart-to-heart with the poor guy. Give him a chance to explore his mommy issues. Recommend that rather than taking out his issues on random motel guests, he take a look within. Maybe read a book like Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents: How to Heal from Distant, Rejecting, or Self-Involved Parents. Before you agree to untie him, book him an appointment with a highly qualified therapist. Give him a hug if you feel up to it, then untie him, wish him luck, and refuse to give him his knives back until he's proven that he can use them responsibly. Then get to the car, hit the gas, and head somewhere sunny to spend that stolen cash. Feel the wind in your face and take a deep breath. Congratulations, you did it! You made it out of the Bates Motel alive. Time to celebrate and never ever go back. Well, maybe for a sequel. Now check out You vs. Death Angel Alien in a Quiet Place movie, or watch this video instead.